mind is so spectacular. Open up your aperture. You don't like the light that I be shining, bitch, you Dracula. Southern draw vernacular, flip you like a spatula. Knew that I was built to put this world up on my scapula. I've been on this road so long, my tires bald. I don't wanna text and no, I don't wanna call. Came in this shit running, bitch, I don't know how to crawl. We ain't never folding, I'm holding the highest card. Look, okay, grew up running post routes. Now I'm on the cash route. Better call the plumber, that boy spitting like a bass spout. All these bad women in this club, fuck is you mad about? Word to all my estheticians, boy, I'm about to lash out. Straight from St. John's to the east side, jigging since the knee high. Watch the way I put on for my state, nigga, yeehaw. Respecting no Aretha, crazy how I made it to the league from the bleach eyes. Boy, my shit hair wrong, black, rich, and bare arms. Smoking on that yogi, this shit stronger than some bare arms. Goku, I'm in rare form, you cannot prepare for him. When I swing, it's like a carnivore, this shit ain't fair for him. Brought intellect back to this rap shit, you niggas need chapstick. Shit been dry for way too long, and I'm the matchstick. You niggas Nickelodeon me, I'm more like Cap Nick. Cap a nigga, throw him in. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said it, I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. About to blow like we just lit the fuse. We double dutch into this dough, I get this shit in twos. Push the button, get it started, put that shit in cruise. A little dust up on his heart, I barely get to use. A fool flatters himself, a wise man flatters the fool. Man, I just came to get it started like mechanics with tools. Cause in my hood, if you don't pack a tool, you planning to lose. These young boys deserve Oscars, they be acting a fool. A couple loose screws, but they hammer accurate. Ooh, I know some niggas stuck on drugs and manufacture it too. School of hard knocks, we all got our bachelor's. Food, no cap and gowns, but we all had to master. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said it, I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh rack, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopping, we don't even need no brake lights. Say she don't smoke, but she always smoke with me, yeah. Back with Finny, yeah, back up in the ovaries, yeah. All my ops, they stay running like they over easy, yeah. Even my masseuses can't just get too close to me, yeah. Shout out to Next. Soon as the ink dry, we count out the checks, yeah. I never flex. I bought up a business, you bought up a section. I'm at the top of my class, yeah. Y'all never learned from your lessons. Skywalker gave me the force, yeah. Turned this into an obsession, yeah. I couldn't wait on the team, cooking shit up with just me rowing flag, yeah. Things never are what they seem, but we know the facts, yeah. Charging that shit to the game, but now I pull up with a battery pack, yeah. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and we can just leave it at that. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh wax, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopping, we don't even need no brake lights. Big bro, why they call you big bro? Every time we hit the bank, we deposit zip codes. Well connected with the streets like we out in Skid Row.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button. Y'all come in here. Hit the share, subscribe as well. Hit that Cash App, $, Slick Rick 1991 Son, $, Slick Rick 1991 Son is our Cash App as well. If you guys do not have Cash App, you can also go to what we have is super stickers and super comments that are available. Simple. It's very, very simple. As we continuously give y'all this content every day, weekly, monthly, yearly, the time we spend on this show to make sure everything is proper stance for y'all, man. You guys, please make sure y'all continuously sow into the podcast, man. We continuously sow out to y'all, man. We thank you for the people that are current members of the Pull Up. If you guys want to continuously have even more involvement with some of the things that we offer, get your membership badges. Membership badges guarantees more insight, in-depth coverage over the LA Clippers, and more insight time for me as well that I give to y'all for being a part of the Pull Up family through membership badges. So very, very affordable. And another way just to, sew in and continuously get back, full, um, you know, attention from me pretty much. So let's get right into it, man. If you guys are in the comment section, please be so kind to make sure you guys let me know that y'all in the comments and hit that like button. Very important to smash that like button in the comment sections. Let me know that y'all in here. Um, I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. We're on Tuesday. Yesterday was a long day for me. I did not have the ability to do a live, so here I am today. I'm saying, taking some time off and being, ready for the second part of the season here in a couple of days. Man, it's about to get crazy. So I decided to do a show about the evaluation of the first part and going to what the second part is going to be looking like. So we got over 11 people. Let's get 11 likes into the comments right now, you guys. Let me first say this. Now that the NBA All-Star game is out the way, the weekend's out the way, this is a time where people are looking to say, okay, well, this is gut check time. This is when we, teams start looking into their game plan going into second part of the season, making a push to get into the playoffs, yada, 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 get their chemistry together, team camaraderie, all that good stuff, right? This is the halfway point. So in the halfway point, you take a break, you get some time away to recuperate, get your mind off it, and then you come back ready to work. So here we are. I'm ready to get back to it, man, ready to work. And like I said, we'll be dropping a link here as time goes and let y'all come and give y'all opinions as well. But we're going to simply speak on what the Clippers have done the first part of the season to now and what I expect for us to do in the second part of the season based off the direction that we're going, the pickups that we made. Guys are getting healthy, just the whole nine. I expect everybody to, come, to full abundance, through what's happening. So let's first talk about the first part of the season. So coming into the first part of the season, the roster that we had is obviously different from the roster that we had, that we have now. We picked up some guys on the roster. We let some guys go. Some familiar faces are no longer here that we're going to talk about as well. But I want to get into, the people that are here. And I'll get into like our record. I want to look at, the things that have been a factor of why we are where we are. Shout out to Gabe Moore in the comment section. Hey, BJ, what's good? What's good? Shout out to my man, the one and only Bolt. Appreciate you coming in, my guy. He said, we look like a better team. We just have to fully gel and all that. All right. So 17 people. We should have over 17 likes in y'all. Let's get these likes up. So we're going to look at a number of things. We're going to look at the record. We're going to look at how we've been playing. We're going to look at the roster. We're going to look at the key additions, the people that we've let go, yada, yada, yada. The competition we have to deal with, the competition we faced, who we match up against, things of that nature. We're talking about a lot of different things. But coming into the season, expectations from the outsiders were that we were not going to be a competitive team, that we were going to be somewhere out of the play-in, that we're going to be somewhere not even a top 10 team in the Western Conference. Well, according to, expectations, it looked like we exceeded expectations. We are now the 6th seed in the Western Conference. We've been flirting around between the 4th and the 7th seed all year. 4th and the 7th seed all year. We've been flirting around. So, right above the play-in or right at the play-in. 4th, 7th, 4th, 8th seed, right? So let me go ahead and pull up the statistics. Pull up the standings right now where we're at. So this is the Western Conference, as y'all can see, right? You got the teams OKC, Memphis, Denver, Houston, Lakers, Clippers. That's the first top 6 seeds. And then you get into the play-in with Minnesota, Dallas, Sacramento, Golden State. Right outside the play-in, you got Phoenix and San Antonio, and then right after that, the three teams I feel like are just basically going to be tanking for another season is going to be the Trailblazers, Jazz, and of course the Pelicans, who have surprised me for tanking off of just injuries to Zion, which goes to show you that when your best player has been out, it puts a huge strain on your rest of your team. Zion playing not much of the games this season. As y'all come in, make sure y'all smash that like button. He said Bron is selfish. He knew he wasn't going to play. Norm got screwed. Yeah, I've been hearing stuff about that. I don't really pay too much mind about it. I mean, I can definitely respect people's opinions. Um, but I kind of, kind of put myself away from that. He said there was this say we're top 10 power rankings and compared to other teams because of defense and offense. All right, we're gonna talk about that as well. But as y'all see right now, these are the standings. These are the simple statistics that each team, like in the Western Conference. So when you look at us, we are a game ahead of the Timberwolves, which means we're going out of the play-in, and we are simply 2 games behind the Lakers at the 5th seed, and then it goes up and up as time goes on. So we got to look at the games that we're behind, and we got to look at the games we're in front of, because our whole goal, I'm pretty sure our goal is to avoid the play-in at all costs, right? So for us to avoid the play-in, we got to make sure that we cover some ground, especially on this road trip. Now let's go into the schedule we got going up, right? Let's talk about the schedule that not only that we have, but we have coming up. So we have a 7-game road trip coming up with I'm talking about the Clippers. Let me go ahead and go back to the Clippers real quick. Tripping. My bad, y'all. I got a little bit off tune. So let me go into the Clippers. All right. So let's start off actually from the start. Let's go from the start and then work our way down. So we have currently a 31-23 record, right? And of course, out of these games, 15 only played with Kawhi. So now that we basically have that going on, look at the teams that we done faced and the teams that we played up against. Coming into the season, we had quote unquote the 4th hardest schedule for the beginning part of the season. Now, I'm gonna talk about what that means in a little, because I think people get confused when they say we have the 4th hardest schedule. I think people get confused, right? But I'm gonna put some clarity to that. But based off of our record leading up until we had Kawhi back, which was January 4th, we were 19-15. All right, I want y'all to look at this. They were 19-15 up until Kawhi Leonard got back on the court on January the 4th against the Hawks. So what does that mean? We are above 500. We were able to hold the fort down, and we were able to basically carry on until Kawhi Leonard got back on the court. So that right there kind of highlights that we were definitely above expectations. People thought we were going to be under 500. People thought we were going to struggle. People even thought Kawhi was going to be healthy at the beginning of the season, right? So a lot of things were thrown at us, right? But certain guys like Norman Powell spoke out against that, saying that for them to think that it's crazy for them to think they're going to be a bottom team is something that was crazy. There was something that wasn't even a logical statement, and that goes to show. I'm going to get too off subject. A lot of these people that are making these predictions and talking about basketball, a lot of these players, if you really get them behind the curtain and behind the scenes and you ask them what they feel about the media and what they know about basketball, they're going to tell you they don't really know little to nothing. Right? That's why in my case, a lot of times I don't follow the popular vote. I don't follow the popular prediction because everybody else said it. More than probably half of the NBA public, including Clipper fans, claim that the Clippers are going to be a bottom-ranked team, even with Kawhi Leonard on the roster. They not only are a above 500 team, they did it with almost pretty much more than half of the season without their best player. So that just goes to show you that the players are saying, well, this is what the odd makers and the bet people are saying, prediction, but it's not going to go too far. That should be a lesson to a lot of people. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow the crowd when it comes to what everybody's saying. Right? Norm, Zoo, you know what I'm saying? Harden, all these players spoke out and they had belief in themselves. Even Ty Lue, Ty Lue came out and said he couldn't wait for the season to get started. A lot of these players are motivated, right? So that's why I want to put there. But we were 19 and 15 up until Kawhi got back on the court. We're 31 and 23 right now. So I would say, based off of how we've been playing, we've been able to, hold suit at the second part. We've been able to hold suit as the 6th seed. Now we're going into the second part of the season, which I'm about to talk to y'all about in a minute. Now that we got a second part, we got to look at the players that we done picked up and let go. So obviously, a few players that we have let go. Of course, the number one player that's a foe is Terrence Mann. With Terrence Mann being let go off the team, a lot of Clipper fans were really, really bothered by it. And there were some Clipper fans who felt like it was time for Terrence Mann to go. My stance on Terrence Mann leaving was a player that obviously brought something, was a part of something that, brought real relevance to the Kawhi and PG era, and that was a chip to the Western Conference Finals. He was part of that 21 team. And since then, people had expectations of Terrence Mann taking that leap. But as time has went on, I think expectations have lowered because they looked at Terrence Mann as a star player, which he wasn't really a star player. He just had a great game. So as time goes on, 2-3 seasons go on, with his, not his rotations, not being in rotation consistently, having to, play here, play there. The coach, Ty Lue, just obviously didn't have the belief that Terrence Mann was really, really a prevalent part of the team. Right? He'll say stuff like, he's a defensive player. He's supposed to be here for defensive purposes. But Ty Lue being an offensive coach, if you're not a good offensive player or a player that doesn't put up an offensive skill set, it's very, very hard for you to crack the rotation. That's why guys like Amir Coffey took his spot. If you want to be honest, Amir Coffey has been a player that's been getting consistent minutes, especially this season, because his ability to score the basketball and to play some defense, right? Which I have no issue with. I love Amir Coffey. I'm thinking he should be in the final 8 to spread the floor, to guard positions 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying? So he's an athletic wing. He's going to get minutes. But Terrence Mann, because he did not show his offensive skill set to, not want to shoot the ball in certain situations, being a little bit hesitant to attack, is why, he's no longer with the Clippers. I don't think it was the right decision to make. As a matter of fact, I think that's going to hurt us in the playoffs, letting Terrence Mann go. Because as much as people want to say offensively what he doesn't do defensively, he's our quote unquote, point of attack defender. I've seen him guard many star players. I've seen him guard Devin Booker. I've seen him guard Ja Morant. I've seen him guard De'Aaron Fox. These are the players that you're going to have to be able to stop and contain when it comes down to the bottom line. As y'all come here, make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure y'all let me know that y'all are in here. Everybody, make sure y'all like it right now. So I'm just going on to, what we are dealing with from what we lost until we're going to the second part of the season. So y'all stick with me. So hit that like button. So the loss of Terrence Mann to me will hurt us in the postseason. Now, because you've lost Terrence Mann, that responsibility is going to fall on Chris Dunn to be the point of attack defender. But that could change as well. And I'm going to tell y'all why in a minute. But Chris Dunn coming onto the team this year raised my antennas to think that Terrence Mann was going to probably be out of here, because what you did, all you did was basically add on a player that does the same thing that Terrence Mann did. You already had, James Harden there, right? You had Chris Dunn there. And you have KPJ there. You brought all these dudes in the off season with Terrence Mann still struggling to get time on the court. So that only told me it was a matter of time for Terrence Mann was out of here. So that tells me once again, Ty Lue does not value Terrence Mann's defense. That's going to hurt us in the postseason. I've seen him guard Luka Doncic as well. I forgot to leave that out of there. So now that responsibility goes to Chris Dunn. And I'm going to be very honest with y'all. You know, people can recite stats all day. You know, I think somebody said fourth in deflections. Fourth in deflections last year. Here's the thing: deflections aren't steals. Primarily, there you get your hand on the ball, which is great. But the fact is that I look at the eye test and the statistics. Right? They have to match. I've used this analogy a lot of times. You know, people, coaches, scouts don't go to a NBA combine or an NBA evaluation and say this player scored 25 points per game, had 6 rebounds, 8 assists, shot 40-something% from the field. Okay, looks great. That looks very great. But what do? They go into watching the player in a combine to see how they perform in person with their eyes before they sign them to a lucrative $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, whatever the deal contract. Why is that? Because stats can be misleading. Who are you playing up against? What system are you in? Are you getting more opportunities to play your game? A lot of different factors go into the statistics. So when people yell numbers out to me, I don't move a muscle. Why is that? Because I've learned a long time ago that stats only take you so far. This is why I have a problem with guys like Luka Doncic and LeBron James, who sit up there and have all these numbers and never have not won anything. When you watch the games and actually see what's going on and take a deeper, closer look, you see that their teams like Luka has, yet to really advance outside of the years he has had to face Kawhi Leonard. Now, people may say, well, that's taking things too far, BJ. I'm saying basically there's limitations to statistics. If you're not guarding on the defensive end, if you're not taking the initiative to make your teammates better, if you're not doing the things that, help you winning, then the stats only go so far. What did my uncle say? A lot of people are stat whores. Now, as far as Chris Dunn goes, like I said before, I have not seen this man stop any stars. I have not seen him stop any stars. I've seen Terrence Mann guard star players. Now, Chris Dunn has been in the league. He's 31 years old. Terrence Mann's 28. For people say that Chris Dunn needs an opportunity to stop stars, he's going to get his opportunity this playoffs, or he might get pushed out the bench by the player that I'm going to bring up in a little bit. But once I'm getting back on track. Chris Dunn, when he came onto the team, when Kevin Porter Jr. came onto the team, I said to myself, Terrence Mann's time here is limited. Because this is a player I feel like Ty Lue wanted to bring in more so than Lawrence Frank or yada, yada, yada. Or Steve Ballmer probably asked to bring him in. Obviously, KPJ's with the Milwaukee Bucks. His tenure with the Clippers was, up and down, inconsistent. Something, I think, who his tenure kind of reminds me of? His tenure was kind of similar to John Wall's tenure, right? Except John was more injury prone and stuff, or they said he was injury prone. I don't know. But I'm saying basically you brought in a guy who hasn't played NBA basketball in a year, who's played for losing franchises. Yes, he was with Houston, which the same team John was on when he was playing. They both averaging 20 points a game, but it was on a bad team. So it kind of was the same situation with Kevin. Like KPJ is a guy that very talented player, showed some upside as far as defensively as well. But in a winning organization, you saw the holes. You saw the bad decision making. You saw the over dribbling. You saw the inability to really stretch the floor. There's just certain things he must learn, and hopefully he's getting that in Milwaukee, playing behind Dame, right? That he's going to actually learn how to play basketball, because I think he is very talented. But now that he's off the court, off the team, You asked for the guys that they brought in. Obviously, that's Bogdanovich, right? We're going to talk about these players as well. So let's do this. Talk about the second part of the season. Look at the comment section real quick. Do you think they feel like Dunn and DJJ defense better? To who? Whose defense? Who you comparing it to, Deuce? Salute, E. What's good? Salute, Cam. How you doing, bro? Your Mavericks are gonna be a problem, bro. Your Mavericks are gonna be an issue. I'm gonna talk about y'all in a minute, but simply we brought some additions in, right? We brought some additions in. We brought some reinforcements in. We brought some things that I think the Clippers are making a decision to try to. They're finally finding an identity how they want to play. So I'm gonna try to bring y'all a couple of the guys that they brought in coming off the trade. You got Bogdanovich, right? Bogey averaging 9.8 points per game this season, 2.7 rebounds, 2.0 assists, 37% from the field. Now, this was basically the biggest acquisition. Well, one of the biggest as far as the deal that was made. Who we let go for. Bogey. Just watching him, not just these last few games, like through his career, bro. Obviously known for his shooting. As y'all come here, make sure y'all smash that like button. Obviously known for his 3-point shooting. But if you take a closer look at Bogey's, game, he's more than just really a shooter. And he echoed this in a press conference. He does more than just shooting. He has a very good IQ playing in Serbia with Jokic. You saw that in the Olympics. Remember that guy that was going at LeBron James? Right? In that third game they played USA, that was Bogdanovich. That was him. So there's a level of IQ and there's a level of toughness there. That's what we definitely need. You can never have too much toughness on the team because things are going to get hard. They're going to be up and down. You must have somebody that's going to be able to rely in the foxhole. Bogey playing international basketball. Those international basketball players understand it's about team first, team concept first, right? It's a different culture, right? So Bogdanovich is a player that you will need in the foxhole because he's a player that's going to always be ready for the moment, be prepared for the moment, right? One thing, another, of course, he brings us his outside 3-point shooting and space in the floor. Now, of course, he's having a little bit off year this year, but anybody that watches Bogdanovich and watches how he shoots the basketball with their eyes can see that he's a very, very good 3-point shooter, right? He's a guy that can, light it up like, we seen him doing Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? We've seen him doing the Olympics. I mean, he has a role to shoot the basketball. They made this move for a reason because we lacked shooting, right? And I'm just telling y'all what we're going into the second part of the season, how we're going to be looking. But the move to get Bogdanovich was primarily to get another space shooter. So that right there goes into what I say, okay, what is it going to look like in the second part of the season? We're going to have more spacing and more 3-point shooting. We're going to be more of a threat, somebody that can, play with James Harden, which I'm going to talk to y'all too. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. I'll just sit back and relax. But Bogey's ability to stretch the floor and shoot is definitely something the Clippers definitely needed. Not just for James Harden, but even Ben Simmons as well, which I'm going to talk about next. We lacked real spacing. The only spacing really had was from Norman Powell and Amir Coffey, who wasn't James Harden. You got Nicholas Batum, but his minutes are limited as well. We didn't really have much spacing on the team. People thought Mobama was going to be that spacer for us, man. Mobama, obviously, y'all can see, was just not ready. He was not ready for that. He wasn't ready to really space the floor. Defensively, he was low-key decent, but I think the Clippers, based off of what they brought for a second backup center, was just not. He wasn't the person for it. So they let go of him as well. But Bogdanovich is a player that I could see being a very, very good help for us. not just in the second units, but in the closing lineups. If we needed somebody that could space the floor and shoot, so that's a very, very good pickup for us. But of course, the pickup that we have to talk about, and of course, Patty Mills. This is interesting bringing him on. My theory is they brought him in for salary cap reasons. That's my biggest prediction and opinion. Patty Mills, obviously, his best years are behind us. But then there's another part of me that says that I think how they're building the team and who they're bringing in, Patty can still shoot the 3-point shot. See, something else people got to remember too. In international ball, Patty Mills is still a dominant player in international basketball, right? He's still a dominant basketball player. He's 36 years old right now. So that's not really old if you think about it in the NBA. Because the last time you saw Patty Mills in the Olympics was Australia. He's a guy that definitely he causes havoc. Even playing up against NBA teams or the USA team. So the game, his ability to still shoot is still there. I'm interested to see what they use Patty here, because I think they say that he might get bought out, but I mean, I think there might be a door open for him to somewhat play more than just a locker room presence there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But of course, the biggest acquisition was, of course, the signing of Ben Simmons. And this is where I say this is going to be determined how we're going to do this season. When you look at Ben Simmons and what he has done, what he did the first game against the Utah Jazz, had a very, very solid performance. I'm not going to say an elite performance, but he had a solid performance in 27 minutes. Being the first game back, all that good stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be positive about. You know what I'm saying? And he shows on the court that he can still play make. He can still play defense. He can still rebound. What did he have his first game? He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, 3 steals, no turnovers, 80% from the field, 100% from the line. I mean, this was as efficient, as well-rounded of a game you can get for a guy like Ben Simmons, and they got the dub. And he played in the closing minutes of that fourth quarter especially. So all around, just a great, great, great game from Ben Simmons. Now, speculation. Where do the Clippers place Ben Simmons at? Is a question how this second part of the season is going to go, because me personally, Ben, all the things that I named, his ability to rebound, to play make, to play defense, right? He's 6'9", 6'10", if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, 6'10". Very fast with the basketball, high IQ, as y'all saw with the 0 turnovers. All those factors that I just named, one would think to themselves, if he does all that well, how is he possibly a bench player? Well, because it's Ben Simmons, and people have that memory of what happened with him in the last game with the Sixers. It's somewhat has clouded a lot of people's thinking that this guy is just such a bum. Or maybe it's that 6.4 points per game that he averaged this year with Brooklyn, right? And what he's been averaging the last couple of seasons with Brooklyn, right? So it's going to really what's really going to be the biggest question, how they use Ben Simmons. Are they going to use him as a backup big? Are they going to use him as a point guard? Are they going to use him as what are they going to use? What's the plan? And is the plan they have currently going to change? This falls on Ty Lue. Let me go into, let me go into Ty Lue. This is going to be a playoffs if everybody's on that court, where Ty Lue is going to prove how good of a coach he really is. Now, I know people are going to talk about this season of how we've been able to stay afloat, and that proves how great of a coach Ty Lue is. This is what I'll say about that. Yes, Ty Lue gets credit for that, but Jeff Van Gundy, as far as our defense being top 5, the majority of this season, coming into the team where the last couple of seasons our defense has been inconsistent. This is the first time I can remember a team with, defensively as a team has been as consistent as they've been. And that credit goes to Jeff Van Gundy. But I've seen Ty Lue before in the past have role players and still have somewhat of a good record. Right? They re-signed this man to a 5-year extension. So because of that, now you must live up to that extension this year. That is if Kawhi's on that court. So let me just say this. How do I feel about the first part of the season? Let's talk about the schedule of the teams that we done played up against. Let's talk about, our record. Let's talk about, the matchups going into the postseason as well. I'm going to bring up in a minute. So if you look at the schedule of the Clippers right now, as y'all come in there, make sure y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that full like button as y'all come up in here, please. I definitely appreciate y'all. Let's bring up something real quick for y'all to see what's going on. Let's see something. He said Bogey's corner 3 points. Threes will come clutch. They will. Bogey, I could just tell, even though he didn't shoot the ball particularly well, I think against, I don't know if it was Utah or the Jazz or Utah both times. I don't know how he shot the ball percentage wise, but I do know there's some some shots were not very, he missed. I think that over time those shots will start to fall. I know those shots will start to fall. But let's talk about the schedule. So we are right now 31-23. We sit at the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Now, let's talk about the standings real quick. Let's talk about the standings in the NBA real quick. I just want to bring something up because if we're going to talk about the second part of the season, we got to talk about the teams that we have to deal with. You got OKC, Memphis, Denver, Houston, and the Lakers are the top 6 teams in the West, and us right now, the Clippers. So as far as the matchups have been, everything's going to be matchup based when it comes to the playoffs. OKC right now we're 0-3 against this year. Memphis we are 2-0 against this year. Denver we're 2-2 against. Houston we're 0-3. Lakers we're 1-1. So, like I said, we lost 3 games against OKC. That's 0-3. You're 2-2 against Memphis. You're 2-0 against Memphis. That becomes 2-3. You're 2-2 against Denver. That becomes 4-5. You're 0-3 against Houston. That becomes 4-8. You're 1-1 against the Lakers. That goes 5-9. So you're 5-9 against the top 6 seeds right here. We lost 1 against the Lakers with Kawhi. We lost 1 against we won 1 against Memphis with Kawhi. So 5-9 right now. You go into the 7 through 10 seeds. We're 5-9 right now. You go against Minnesota. We lost all 3 games. One of those games was with Kawhi. 5-12. We go 1-1 against Dallas. 6-13. Sacramento. Let me see if we're Sacramento. We are. I want to say. Are we 1-0? I know we ain't lost to them. I think we're 1-0 against Sacramento. So if we are 1-0 against Sacramento, we're 7-13. And then against Golden State, we're 10-13. Right? And then you look at a team like Phoenix, we lost all 3 games too. So that means we're 10-16 against teams in the Western Conference right now. As y'all come here, smash that like button. Now, this is what I want to say. We got 62 people. Salute, Taz. What's good, brother? Now that we transition to the second part of the season, I'm going to tell y'all how I feel about each one of these teams that we match up against and what I feel like we need to do to either beat this team or give us an opportunity to beat these teams. OKC, obviously the top seed in the Western Conference, is the most complete team in the West. We have shown ourselves to struggle this year without, of course, Kawhi on the court. But even without Kawhi on the court, we have to still see us face OKC. So right now we don't have the formula to beat OKC other than we need to get Kawhi back. Now, what I will say about OKC is that they can be beat. They can be beat. The reason why Draymond Green said what he said, that he don't fear nobody in the West, he's talking about OKC and Memphis and all these teams like, Houston, these young teams who have really little to no playoff experience. He's talking about really them. And he's correct to talk about, because really OKC ain't really been tested. I mean, even last year, what do you look at? You played up against a New Orleans team without Zion. You swept them. And then you faced a Dallas team who was the 5th seed, who you basically had holes in your inside and your interior that got exposed. Now, they addressed those concerns with getting Hardenstein as a backup center, but OKC ain't proved anything to be scared of other than being a good regular season team. So the way that we have a chance to beat them is that simply that's a series that Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell will have to come in there and show their playoff dominance, that they're going to show that nobody on this court, including this SGA, is better than Kawhi in the playoffs. That's the only way we're going to beat OKC. Because from top to bottom, if you think about it, OKC is more deeper than us. So it's going to have to come through a series of us just basically outmatching them through the star power. But that's something that we have to see. Memphis, we've shown that we can beat them with Kawhi and without Kawhi. Listen, Memphis to me is another regular season team. I saw a report today about, and I don't know how true it is, that they're talking about shopping Ja Morant over the summer. My belief is that Ja Morant is never going to lead that team to the finals and maybe not even the conference finals. And once the OKC Thunder or once the Memphis Grizzlies wake up to that, they're going to go in and move him. They built a team with scores and defense, but I think Ja Morant, the Ja Morant experience is coming close to an end. I think they're going to start building that team around Desmond Bane. But the problem with Desmond Bane is that he's good, but he's not great. Jaren Jackson Jr. is good, but not great. So a series like that's just basically, our stars being who they are. Because if you look at the first 2 meetings, they have no answer for Kawhi. They have no answer for, James Harden. They have no answer for Norman Powell. So that just comes to us just being the stars being who they are. Same formula against OKC, but I think OKC is a lot less room for error. As y'all come here, smash that like button. A team like Denver, this is a team that's going to be, to me, a match for us. We're 2-2 against them right now. They're a different team from the 2 times that we lost against them earlier in the season. Denver is a team that has a system, an offensive system. They have a championship level coach, and they have arguably the best player in the NBA. Nikola Jokic, yes. And they have a very, very good, solid culture over there. And their bench has been rejuvenated. A lot of people have thought Westbrook was going to make that team worse. It looks like to me Westbrook's made that team better. They're on the verge of getting that 2nd seed. Who thought they were going to be the 2nd seed? I didn't. They will probably surpass Memphis and take that 2nd seed. So now what you have is a team that's getting more healthy, a team that's rejuvenated off that bench, a team that likes each other, that gels with each other, has championship experience, has playoff experience. They're going to be a battle against us. They're going to be a battle. It's going to be a slugfest. But I have faith in us against Denver. But we're going to have to, play that series out. A team like Houston is a team that I'm looking at. There's some holes against. We've lost to them all 3 times this year. Not only have we lost, I've seen us get pretty much ran off the court. See, the dangerous thing about Houston is this. They're well coached and they have an identity. Yes, they're young, but they got some experience over there with Fred VanVleet, with Dylan Brooks, right? With Steven Adams, right? Mixed in with athletes and dogs. Amon Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., Byron Eason, Alfred Sengun, right? And they have an upcoming talented scorer in Jalen Green at 23 years old. Now, this is where I say this is going to be somewhat of a little bit of a problem. James Harden, I don't think is going to have a good series against Houston. Why is that? Because you got athletic point of attack defenders like Jabari Smith and Amon Thompson who make it difficult. But if Ty Lue uses Ben Simmons in a series like this to take the load off of James Harden, as far as the playmaking, you can use him more as a stretch three-point shooter. But this is a tricky series. This is going to be a series, again, where Kawhi Leonard's going to have to show himself to be the dominant force that he is. Because as I look around, James Harden, to me, is not going to have a great series against Houston. I'm just being honest. Based off the first 3 games I've seen him against him, he struggles against young, athletic teams. So that's going to leave the bulk up to Norm. Zubac, I don't think he's going to have a great series against Houston. He hasn't had a great game against Houston yet, or OKC. For whatever reason, he doesn't seem to want to, be physical. Those are 2 physical teams right there. So that's going to put the onus on Kawhi Leonard. And when I have a guy like Ime Udoka as my coach, they're not going to go in that series scared. Dylan Brooks, as erratic as he is a player that you want on your side when you're going up against a playoff caliber team. So we'll see against that series. The Lakers, nah. Now, the interesting part, as I've said before, LeBron and Luka, to me, is not going to be a combination that's going to work, in my personal opinion. However, they are 2 all-time great players. So sometimes with stuff like that, things may still work out in a certain way that you don't expect just because of how great they are. But I still believe it's even too much for them to overcome. On top of that, you don't have a big man to deal with Zubac. I know people are going to go based off of that last game, but as far as a series goes, I think that we have a better chance of upcoming that series. I think that we have, a guy like Ben Simmons coming off the bench. As it's gonna, a lot of these series, I don't know, people are looking at me being crazy. Much of these series are going to depend how Ty Lue coaches and what positions he puts our guys in. Ben Simmons, with his ability to play defense, to rebound, he helps out everybody on the court. He helps out James Harden with his playmaking. He helps out Kawhi Leonard, putting him at his natural position if Ben can play the 4. He also helps Ivica Zubac with the physicality and the rebound. He helps out every single body on the court. He helps out with setting great ball screens and off screens for Norman Powell to come off and shoot. He takes James Harden off the ball to give him a break. He helps everybody. So you can't afford to just use him as a guy giving me 20, 25 minutes. That's not going to work. But the Lakers, to me, that's going to be a battle itself, just off of that. We both have experience of, and then just of the history between the two, and the Kawhi and LeBron matchup. That's going to be we play them in a couple weeks, so we'll see. But as well as Luka, he don't like the Clippers either. So that should be an exciting series. Let me go through a few more teams, and then I'm gonna let y'all in here. We got Minnesota. Now, for whatever strange, crazy reason, we cannot beat this team. For whatever reason, we cannot beat this team. He said Udoka deserves Coach of the Year. Yeah. I like the Clippers' chance between OKC and better than. I don't see the hype with Memphis. I don't see it. We've already beat them twice. Memphis is good as far as like they've got stretch shooters and they got some size, but it's just a team led by Ja Morant. I don't think it's enough against our team, bro. I just don't see it. I think Houston's a bigger threat than Memphis against us. Minnesota, for whatever crazy reason, we can't beat this team. Anthony Edwards seems to see blood against our team. This is a series that Chris Dunn's gonna have to show that he's worth it, because if it ain't him, it'd be Ben Simmons. If it ain't Ben Simmons, it's Derrick Jones Jr. I don't see Derrick Jones Jr. guarding Anthony Edwards. I don't see. Hell, I saw that last game. He didn't guard Anthony Edwards. Well, I think Anthony Edwards had like almost a 40 piece. So we have an issue guarding him. So Chris Dunn's going to be given that assignment. So if we are going to have Anthony Edwards averaging 25, 30 points in that series, and then you got, players like guys like, DiVincenzo and Nikhil Alexander and Naz Reid coming off the bench, that's another issue. So Minnesota, as I predicted, they're going to start coming up. They're going to start winning games. They're going to start being competitive. So matchup wise, we've proven not to be able to beat this team, but the playoffs, once again, for us to beat this team, we're going to have to limit Anthony Edwards, because once you limit Anthony Edwards off Minnesota, their offense it dwindles. So that's going to be the first. So who's going to guard him? Who's going to guard Anthony Edwards? Is it going to be Kawhi? I don't want Kawhi running around all around this perimeter trying to chase Anthony Edwards. Is it going to be Chris Dunn? Well, that's going to have to be the guy. So we're going to see just how great of a defender he is. Because the first 3 games, I ain't seen it. Dallas Mavericks. This is a team right here I feel like it should be a threat to anybody out west. Why is that? Because Dallas, they cover every single thing. They have scorers, they have shooters, they have inside defense and a perimeter defense. They have the coaching, they have the experience, they have championship pedigree. They have a first and second option. Yes, Anthony Davis is a first option. He was the first option on the bubble statistically. They just gave it to LeBron James because he was the vocal leader. But as far as the 5 seasons, Anthony Davis off the Lakers, the team has been pathetic. When Anthony Davis misses time, the Lakers seem to struggle. Go look at the records without Anthony Davis on the court. As well, yeah, mostly in recent time. It's not too good. And now that you let him go, that's going to be somewhat of an issue. But as far as Dallas, the only problem with them is that they're hurt. But they got 3 bigs. 2 of them are physical. All 3 of them are athletic and mobile. You got outside shooting. And you got playmakers with Spencer Dinwiddie, with Kyrie Irving, of course. Right? 2, a backup legit point guard in Dinwiddie. You got a dynamic second option proven in Kyrie Irving, sometimes even first. You got outside 3-point shooting by Klay Thompson. All right. Now, and you got PJ Washington. I forgot about him. Stretch 3-point shooter. In my personal opinion, here's another thing too. People talk about Derrick Jones being the best perimeter defender on that. I think it was PJ Washington. I think there's a reason why they let DJJ go off the Mavericks. You see the Mavericks right now, they're 4-1 without Luka Doncic. They didn't miss a beat. They're going to be a team that's going to be someone that's going to have to be reckoned with. Now, as regards to us, we're going to have to match their size. That small ball with Ty Lue ain't going to cut it against a team like Dallas. So if they can be healthy, then they're going to be in that mix. And then you got Sacramento and Golden State. I'm going to let y'all in. Sacramento, they don't have enough. They don't have a number 1 scorer. A lot of good players, but no great player. Domantas Sabonis, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, all those guys are good players, but they're not star players. They're not superstars. That's all I can really say about them. Golden State, with the addition of Jimmy Butler on that team, It makes things interesting, but against us, I don't feel like it's still going to be enough because yes, you have a system. Yes, you have a team that's confident saying they're going to win a championship, but against matchup wise, we have no issues with them. So that Phoenix, for whatever reason, we haven't been able to beat them over the last few 3 games. So we have not been able to deal with them. We have not been able to deal with Phoenix for whatever crazy reason. And I think before we were able to punk Phoenix and we were able to be better, but now I don't think this team Phoenix is as they're not scared of our team like they once were. So we hope that Phoenix stays out and don't replace a team like Sacramento, right? Because I think Golden State's going to move up. But if Phoenix gets in that play and they somehow get in that mix, then that's going to be another team that we're going to have to really go up against because matchup wise, that team is going to be somewhat of a struggle. So those are the teams that I've want to talk to y'all about. So this is the thing I'm going to talk about right now. If you have, let me look at Taz or player 1. He said Wolves' offense is too predictable with Randall. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why if you limit Anthony Edwards, they're going to fall. But they're still a 7 seed right now in the Western Conference. So they're right there. They're only a game behind us. So the first part of the season was good, but I think people overrated the first part of the season because of the expectations were so low. The bar was set so low. If you look at things in the nutshell and the teams that we faced and the teams that we, had to go up against, we have a losing record against winning teams. Right? So now we have to switch it up, the second part, and actually turn that into a winning record. We got to start off beating Minnesota. And, we got to beat Milwaukee. We've already beat them once. We got to beat them again. We got to beat Phoenix. We got to beat the Lakers. We got to beat Indiana. Right? We got to beat these teams that are playoff caliber teams on this 7-game road trip. This is the start of how our season is going to end up in the second part. We got to be able to have a coach that's going to put people in the right positions. A big point is going to be how Kawhi Leonard is used as well, because I don't think Kawhi at the 4 is a smart idea because he's never won a championship at the 4. You know how Kawhi Leonard has won championships with dominant paint presence, defense, a point guard that takes care of the basketball, right? And a second scorer who's averaging somewhere between 17 and 20 points. Go look. With the Spurs, he won a championship. He had Tony Parker. They averaged both 17 points in the finals. With Toronto, he averaged 26. What did Kawhi average that playoff run? He averaged 30 points, I believe, against in that playoff run. Third time all time in points, 763 points, if I'm not mistaken, or 753, something like that. Pascal Siakam right behind him wasn't giving you 25, 23 points per game. He had a point guard in Fred VanVleet in Toronto, had a point guard in Tony Parker, both guys who take care of the basketball. He had size on both teams. Tim Duncan, David Lee, right? Pau Gasol, players like that. Toronto, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam. These are the players that he had. Kyle Lowry, thank you, Taz, was a defensive menace. These are the players he wins with. This is why I say this James Harden system, are we running his system or Kawhi Leonard's system? Y'all saw the Harden system was ran from Charlotte all the way up into Indiana or against the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Kawhi not getting the ball as much, not getting as many shots and being more inefficient. That's the system that you saw us running when we're struggling and was on that stretch where Kawhi Leonard said we were not like we're the first seed or something. That's the system that we were running. But we get out of that system. We're more focused on sharing the ball. We're more focused on Kawhi getting his stats and his numbers, right? You know what I'm saying? Letting Norman Powell get his opportunities to score. We start seeing more success. Don't let he said don't let I don't know who this nigga Mike is, bro, but you can just go ahead and get up. You can just literally just leave because you're just another troll. You come in you always in my show, want my attention so bad. So I gave you your attention. There you go, brother. Because at the end of the day, a troll is somebody, like I said, man, just wants your attention. But as I was saying, when you see Kawhi's numbers all the way from, let's see, this Brooklyn game on the 15th, all the way up to the Memphis or to the whatchamacallit, to the Spurs game, right? We're winning a lot of these games. We're closing. You see a lot of W. You see a lot of greens. 23 points, 19, 15, 18, 17, 27. You see a lot of green, a lot of wins. Even the Phoenix game, right? Lost by 2 points. Kawhi should have, finished that game off. But, start losing games one after another, right? So the formula's there. The formula's there. We just got to follow suit. Well, I got 62 people. I've talked long enough, y'all. Let me go ahead and put basically this right here. Let y'all come in. I'm gonna let y'all take over the show now. Give me y'all opinions. Let me look at some of the look at the numbers too. %30 shows we're gonna be excellent. 53% we're gonna be good. 11% said we'll be average. 6% we're gonna be undecided. So that's the numbers right now. So 49 votes. Make sure y'all keep hitting that vote button right now. How will the Clippers finish the second part of the season? Look at some of these comments as well. He said, BJ, keep doing the good work, bro. Appreciate you. He said, I think the Clippers will face the Grizzlies in the first round. I have a feeling. If we face the Grizzlies are going home. He said the Rockets or Grizzlies are fool's gold, no real half-court creators. Yeah, I can agree with that, but I still think the Rockets are just a better coach team. The Grizzlies are a good coach team too, but I think the Rockets are a better coach team. He said, "Salute, BJ. Salute, active. What's good?" He said, "Sub BJ, what's good, my man? Sorry for gone. I been stayed so mad with the team last year that I need a time. What team time off basketball? What you think about Tyler? I think we have to change to one better. Um, I don't have nothing. Tyler is up for, to me, it's up for discussion. We gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna see how you. We gonna see how because it's tough because the playoffs is gonna be simply what is gonna be determined of that. So we'll see what happens with that. He said, "Sup, BJ, y'all average 6th through 8th early round exit, in my opinion. Just not enough offense, in my opinion. Kawhi got to be exception for y'all to compete against with the West better teams." Um, I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna be harder. Like I said, it's gonna be harder for us to win because we do have a little bit to make up for the offense. It's gonna be tougher, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. But I definitely respect that. Like I can definitely see that. He said Rockets should be the team we worry about the most. Young ladies, uber athletic defense, my mind and coach. Would choose Udoka over two outside any day. I would too. Anytime you can overturn a average team to anytime you can overturn an average team um to a team that wasn't supposed to be there, that right there goes to show you like how great of a coach you are. And that's what Udoka, he's done that. And what the Rockets were like what were they, like the 15th seed or something like that before the year before Udoka got there. I know they picked up a couple players like Van Fleet and Josh Green and players like that, but for the most part, Jalen Green's still there. Alfred Sengun is there. They picked up Dylan Brooks, but I mean, he can tell he can coach teams. He said we can beat the Thunder if Kawhi is healthy. Yeah, we can beat anybody if Kawhi is healthy. The question is going to be at what cost. Other guys still got to be able to come. I trust Norm to come. It might come to a point where one player may look good one series, one player might not look good the other series. So it's going to be a job by committee. It's going to be a job by committee for sure. You see something else. Who can beat the Lakers in a 7-game? Us, the Mavericks, the Rockets, OKC. There's a lot of teams can beat the Lakers, man. He said the only team I fear is Denver, but if we want to win that series, Kawhi might have to go crazy in that series. Nah, not necessarily. Denver, he don't need Kawhi to go crazy because other players can pick up their slack. See, a series like Denver, I seen Harden, I seen Norm play very well up against. So technically, Kawhi don't have to really go crazy. Even Zubac holds his own against Jokic. So Kawhi ain't really gotta go crazy against the Nuggets for us to win. I'm talking about specifically teams that we match up against that give us a hard time everywhere else, or a series where a team may be just younger than us and we have to just overstep them with star power. So OKC is the team or Nuggets for me is not a fear, but will be a good fight for you. What I'm saying, yeah, they will. The Nuggets are going to be a good fight. OKC is going to have to they're going to have to show me. They're going to have to show me. Mavericks and Clippers being healthy going into the playoffs can be dangerous, honestly. Yep. Experience, continuity, defense. Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. Let's see. Salute, 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 Beast Grills. What's good? Sorry if y'all feel if I seem drained a little bit, but yeah, just taking my time, kind of relaxing. If y'all want to come in, just match that link. You see. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right. Look at some of the rest of these comments. I saw a comment I wanted to read out real quick. He said that's cool what Brian did with not playing in the All-Star game. We'll use it as fuel to kick the Lakers' butt because I know Norm really wanted that. You know something? There's a video clip that I saw of Norm and LeBron having some type of interaction with each other. And I think LeBron grabbed Norm's shorts and Norm was like, hey, don't grab my shorts like that if you want me to come. Like, so since that playoff series, I think it was in 2016 when LeBron was in or 2017, one of the two, 2016 or 2017, 2018, one of those 3 years that Toronto got demolished. Ever since that moment when Norm was on Toronto and LeBron was on Cleveland, he basically they basically have a little bit of some competitive jealousy. But I'm with I say LeBron could have said that way before the game started. For him to do that at that time was just really a diva act. But hey, if he can use that for motivation, cool for us. That's better for us. He said, "Man, what about Trae Young on the Clippers? Already think about next season, final year contract." Nah, nah, man, no. I don't think we need Trae Young, bro. I rather have. I don't need a. It depends if Kawhi is here. I don't need a high usage point guard like Trae Young. I don't need that. So we got to go back to building the right team around Kawhi, not around these different these other high usage players. We don't need that. He said NBA feeding Luka to the fakers means NBA will feed LeBron to another 2 rings. Man, the NBA can do whatever they want, can try to stir whatever they want. Man, LeBron is not winning another ring. He lost that opportunity when he lost Anthony Davis. Here's another thing too. People ain't paying attention to. How crazy would it be if Luka doesn't even resign with the Lakers? We gotta see how the Lakers look the second part of the season. That's why I say I gotta wait and see because Luka and LeBron are. There's a team just a few states over where Luka has a very good relationship with in Nikola Jokic in Denver, in Colorado. Who's to say that he won't not resign? He not will sign with the Lakers and go over there. Who's to say that? So we gotta see how that transaction goes. He said, "Now with Ben, I'm good. We are good." Yeah, I like to see what Ben can do. But as far as what he done said that he's fully engaged. He's fully ready to go. So I got nothing. I'm waiting and ready to see how he does in this 7-game road trip. He said, "BJ, how we match up against Boston in a series? You can't look at Boston right now. We gotta get through the West before we get through Boston. But I think as far as us as a team, Boston, um, I think once again, see the reason why I'm saying Ben Simmons so much because he does so much. He does everything that you need from him to place him. But the problem is that Ty Lue has to put Ben in the proper lineups in the proper position so he can utilize the skill. Ben Simmons with Kawhi can deal with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown defensively. Now, offensively, that's a different story. But defensively, um, yeah, that's going to be more of a different thing. So that's a different animal. I don't know. I don't know. Boston, they have a better overall team than we do, but or starting five, but you know, Kawhi and Ben against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown defensively, I like that matchup. I like that. He said, BJ, do you think the Clippers and Denver can take Denver in the series? Yeah, we can take Denver. We can take them. I think it's that series is gonna be more about how the others play, how Zubac plays, how Norm plays, how Harden plays, because that bench Denver has is not as bad as people say it is. First off, it's going to depend how healthy Jamal Murray is. If Jamal Murray is healthy for the playoffs, that's going to be an issue. And if Mike Malone puts Westbrook with Jamal Murray, that means Westbrook's going to be guarding James Harden, especially full court. That's going to put James Harden in a little bit of a debacle because I don't think he's going to. Westbrook's see that's a series too, where I want to see Westbrook's defense. I've seen him guard star players, so I like to see how James Harden and Westbrook match up there. He said trading Terrence man was the best thing for us. Okay. He said hope Bogey and Simmons stay. He said hope Bogey and Suggs stay and that Derrick Jones too. See, that's the thing, V Royal. You can't have everybody like see, we got Bogey, you got Amir, you got Ben. So how is Derrick Jones gonna get minutes? You got Zoo, you got Kawhi. The playoffs is only an 8 to 10 man rotation. I think Ty Lue likes to play 8 man, but he gonna be forced to have to play 10. He ain't gonna be able to afford to play no 8. He gonna have to play at least 9 or 10 people in the postseason, consecutive minutes. If you was to ask me, I think Bogey and Ben Simmons would put Derrick Jones out the rotation. I don't think Derrick Jones is really now that we got Ben, we don't really have to have D Jones on the court because what you bring D Jones in there for defense and lob threat. What does Ben Simmons do? defense, lob threats, and playmaking and rebounding. So this may surprise people. I don't think Derrick Jones really even needed anymore. But if Ben can't go, then of course you got to use him. Or you can put D Jones in Chris Dunn's spot. But either Chris Dunn or Derrick Jones Jr. is going to have to come out that rotation. One of the two. Eloquence is key. What's up? Jarrell Franklin said for the past 5 years, Clipper Nation said they're supposed to get a ring. On 6 years, we still going to have to talk. Yeah, injuries will do that, sir. I appreciate the comment, though. He said Murray is hard to guard. Yeah, he is hard to guard. He is very hard to guard. He said Bros relies on their three too much. Just have to run them off the line. You know what? I will agree with that, but they have talent. They can get away with that. They got a great starting five, and they got guys off the bench like Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard. Their bench ain't too strong, but they got some good reliable pieces with Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and KP. I mean, Boston's proven their coaching though is going to be a little bit iffy, so they can't be beat. I don't think Boston's going to repeat this year. What's good, Taz?
What's going on, BJ? You doing all right, man?
Oh man, I'm great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself. But yeah, man, just going off to answer the topic of the day. I think the Clippers are going to be good after All-Star break. I don't expect for the Clippers to be magnificent, not by any means. You're going to have to switch up the system again. And Ty Lue's going to have to find out those kinks that's in the armor right now. So I'm expecting a little bit of uncomfortable situations for the Clippers. But my thing is, I'm not worried about the rest of the regular season at the moment. I just want them to be good. I don't want them to try to be great. I just want them towards the end of the season to actually come into their form and actually start being in the rhythm that they need to be in going into the playoffs. Because right now, with how I'm looking at it, the Clippers are going to be able to match well with almost any team in the Western Conference right now. Ben Simmons, and like what you were saying about Derrick Jones, he literally just might fall out of the rotations because Ben Simmons killed like 3 birds with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? Besides the shooting, he's a bigger defender. He moves the ball. He's a great playmaker with a high IQ, and he makes sure that the team gets in their sets, which is just the things that we've been asking for from the Clippers organization to get a guy like Ben Simmons. So just because of that, and especially playing against the Mavericks, Derrick Jones might have to go in at the 2 guard, honestly. That's the only place I see him playing coming up into these playoffs because he's not big enough to play that 4. I don't know why we think he's going to be able to guard somebody like a Anthony Davis, or somebody like a Aaron Gordon. That is not his game. He's a perimeter defender, so might as well keep him at the perimeter. So it's going to be hard for Derrick Jones to find the floor, especially with the way that Dunn is playing lately, because he's just being a defensive menace on the perimeter. It's going to be hard for Ty Lue to just throw out Derrick Jones unless, Dunn gets hurt or there's some kind of hiccups in his game somehow. And I don't see that happening because of the way he plays. He plays strictly off of effort and a defensive IQ. You can't just lose that out of nowhere. You can lose a jump shot, but what Kendrick Dunn, whatever his name is, Chris Dunn brings to the team is a consistent level of defense, and Derrick Jones is going to have a problem just trying to crack the lineup now because he's basically got the same deficiencies as Ben Simmons. Not a consistent shooter. Of course, Ben Simmons is not a shooter at all, but Derrick Jones is not a consistent shooter. He's not, once he's going to the basket, he's not going to look to get other guys open. So just him in that rotation, it's going to be hard to squeeze that man in there. But, as far as the rest of the season, I'm glad that the Clippers got the toughest part of the season out of the way. And it's clear that the Clippers had the toughest schedule throughout the first part of this season, and they're going to be able to get a lot more breaks on this back half, which is exactly what Kawhi needs. It's what James Harden needs. It's what Ty Lue needs. It's just in general what this team needs. So I'm very happy that they got that tough ass schedule out the way, because you was naming off the top 10 teams, and we had already played most of the top 10 teams almost 3 times already. That's damn near unheard of, especially before the All-Star break, So the Clippers still got a good way to go, still got a whole lot to figure out, man. But at the end of the day, once they make it into the playoffs, they are going to be a problem for any team. And my X factor is going to have to be Ben Simmons, and it's going to have to be Norman Powell. We know what Kawhi is going to bring to the table. Sadly, we know what James Harden is going to bring to the table. Hopefully, it's going to be a good version of himself. But, at the same time, we just don't know that just yet. But I'm really just looking at the 2 guys that we aren't sure that are going to be able to produce at that playoff level with all the playoff experience that they both do have, because that's one thing a lot of people forget about. Ben Simmons got quite a bit of playoff history. Even though he never could get past the second round, I'm not going to solely place that on him. We all know whose fault that was, but he does have an extensive history in the playoffs, and he produces at a pretty good level. Unless you take away a certain part of his game, which is what's most likely going to be in the process of happening if they don't figure something out. But at the end of the day, man, this Clippers team is still going to be a good team. I don't expect nothing major. I don't expect nothing less than so I'm just going to keep it consistent with that and keep on looking forward towards the championship.
Oh man, great take, Taz. Appreciate you, brother. Always good takes from you. Let me go to my man Mingle. What's good, Mingle?
What's going on, man? Oh Lord.
Man, here you go.
See, my thing is, I don't know why people keep trying to correlate the regular season to the playoffs. They judge it by how many games you beat a team in the regular season versus how many teams you're gonna beat. I mean, whether you're gonna beat them in the playoffs. Majority of the time, the regular season don't correlate to the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. The regular season is a big part of the NBA season. It's 82 games. So yes, it's a big part of the NBA season. But you cannot correlate the regular season to the playoffs. It doesn't always correlate. Just because you beat a team in the regular season doesn't mean you're gonna beat them in the playoffs. I'm just saying. We all know everything is different in the playoffs. We know the lineup shrink. We know the half-court defense slows down. We know the half-court offense slows down. We know everything in the playoffs is way different from the regular season. Players play harder. Coaches coach harder because they don't want to get eliminated. So it's a different atmosphere in the playoffs. The fans are more crazy because they're going crazy for their team. It's just more. That's why a lot of people say a lot of these players ain't ready for the big lights or ready for the big stage. That's what they mean by that. Because everything is more brighter in the playoffs. It's a totally different atmosphere in the playoffs than the regular season. So with that being said, I don't judge a lot of these teams off the regular season than the playoffs. Like a team like OKC, they're gonna be scary in the playoffs. I'm just saying. Their team gonna be really good in the playoffs. I don't know about the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are tricky. And the reason why I say the Grizzlies are tricky is because you don't know what you're going to get from Ja Morant. See, Ja Morant,
he got to stay healthy.
Huh?
I was just saying he got to stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree with that. But see, Ja Morant is Ja Morant. I agree with BJ when he said Ja Morant. I don't think they're going to the Memphis Grizzlies gonna build their team around Ja Morant for much longer. I don't think they're gonna do that. I agree with that. I don't think they're gonna build it around Desmond Bain though, because that's a downgrade from
Is
Ja
it
Morant.
really though? Is it really though? You really got to think about that. You really got to think about it.
So you go from Ja Morant to Desmond Bain. Like, what are we doing?
Okay,
Desmond Bain is not better than Ja Morant.
look, okay, I get what you're saying, but Desmond Bain is a lot more versatile than Ja Morant, bro.
And I
I don't care
understand
what
that.
nobody's.
He's not more versatile. He can just shoot better. I guess that makes him more versatile, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
I give you that. I give you that. Okay, I guess that makes him more versatile because he shoot better. Okay, I give
And
you
he's
that.
more defensively minded. I say that.
I give you that. But at the same time, though, I don't think building the Grizzlies around Desmond Bain is a good move either. I really don't think that they still ain't gonna win nothing. Even building the team around Desmond Bain, they still not gonna win anything against some teams like Denver and teams like that. Yeah, they still not gonna win. I don't think so. That's just my opinion, though. I don't think so. But now then when you got teams like Houston can be a tricky team in the playoffs. They can be very tricky because they got Ime Udoka as their coach. He's a defensive coach, and if they can they can figure their offense out with Şengün and all those guys. If they can figure that part of the offense out, Jalen Green and Jabari Smith and Amin Thompson, and if they can figure that part of the team out, I don't know. They can be a very tough out in the playoffs. The Rockets team.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think they're one of the toughest teams in the Western Conference. Like,
Yeah, they can
like
be,
you
they
said.
can be very, yeah, they can be very tricky in the playoffs. Then you got the Lakers. Oh Lord. Okay, so oh Lord. Okay, so you got the Lakers fans. They automatically think that LeBron and Luka finna roll off like 3 or 4 rings now. Remember this happened before with Dwayne Wade with LeBron. Not 1, not 2, not 3. You remember that? So yeah, you remember that, and they ended up on the winning 2 rings. So basically what I'm saying, and then LeBron 40 now. He's not 26 now. LeBron is 40 now. So with that being said, I think the Lakers will do good. I think they'll be good in the playoff. But I don't think I'm with BJ on that too. I don't think Luka and LeBron is a good fit. They do the same stuff. They literally the same player. I mean, you got 2 of the same players on the same team. They literally cancel each other out. What they gonna do? Take turns like Westbrook and KD used to do. It's your turn. Now it's my turn. It's your turn. Now it's my turn. It's your turn. They gonna play taking turns. That's what they gonna do.
I mean, they ain't got no other option here.
And
Who else?
that don't work in playoff basketball though. Taking turns don't work in playoff basketball. We done seen it too many times. It don't work in playoff basketball. You got to play as a team because some other teams are coming as teams. Like OKC and teams like that, they coming as team. They're not coming as it's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. So I don't think the Lakers are. Yeah, they may win 1 ring, and I don't think LeBron gonna be on the team when they do win that ring. I think it's gonna be Luka and the rest of those guys that's gonna win a ring. I don't think LeBron gonna be a part of that. I'm just being honest. I think LeBron done winning rings. I'm just saying.
So you saying the Lakers probably gonna win 1 5 years down the line?
I ain't gonna say it may not even be 5 years, maybe like 2 to 3 years. Just LeBron just won't be a part of it. Is all I'm saying.
No.
It's gonna be Luka by itself, not by itself, but it's gonna be Luka and whoever else they get to put around Luka on the Lakers is when they're gonna win a championship. I believe.
I mean, the Lakers must have their eye on a big man in 2027 or something like that, bro. Because I don't see how Luka is going to ever win a championship without a paint presence. With how many people can get past him? Jackson Hayes, is that they center now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see how, especially how inexperienced he is, I don't see how he's going to be able to anchor the paint defensively and offensively. You know, he's a lob threat, sure, but he ain't got footwork. He's just an athletic young big man that is just going to be rim runner. That is not who Luka needs around him, you know, because if you look back at the Mavericks, he had basically damn near the second generation of Twin Towers, bro. And both of those bigs were able to get to the rack. They had a little bit of footwork, likely got a little bit of footwork. I'm not saying that they both are great at, you know, getting to their spot, but those are guys that are going to anchor the paint, because a lot of the times we saw the defensive breakdowns coming from Luka when he was with the Mavericks. But who was there to clean it up? I don't see Jackson Hayes doing that. So the Lakers must got some kind of plan in mind, but it don't look good for me. I'd say the Lakers probably get their first chip in the next 7-8 years, to be honest. 7-8 years.
Yeah, I don't see the Lakers doing much of anything. I just think it's a show over there. They're trying to create the big show, Luke and LeBron over there. Oh, we got Luke and LeBron, but yeah, it's not going nowhere. And then when they start losing, they're gonna be like, LeBron needs more help.
Like always. You know they main line. Get LeBron some help. He ain't got no help. Bro, you got Luke over there. What more help you need? I don't want to hear that no more. I'm tired of hearing that. I
I
don't want to
mean,
hear that no more.
LeBron need Luka, he need Giannis, he need Jason Tatum, and I'm pretty sure somebody else can get thrown in there, even a Jimmy Butler just to win, bro. That's just what I'm used to seeing out of here, man.
Yeah, that's just, I don't understand it. But and that's the Lakers. I don't. They the fifth seed, yeah. But they was hot, and they was acting like when Anthony Davis got traded, they was acting like the Lakers was real bad with Anthony Davis. Y'all was hovering around the fourth, fifth seed with Anthony Davis. And I mean, y'all, it ain't like y'all failed or y'all ain't dropped or get no higher. Y'all been right where y'all been at with Anthony Davis and without him. Y'all been right there, even kill, right there at the 5 seed.
Yeah. And they were way more dominant with Anthony Davis in that line, bro.
Yeah, because Anthony Davis is a compliment to LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, the Lakers don't play in the defense. Anthony Davis was their defense. He was their perimeter defender. He was their rim protector. He was their defense.
That's what makes me think, like, what was the reason for that? What Lakers took that trade for the future, but the problem is if Luka, what if he don't stay? What if he leaves?
Yeah, BJ, that's interesting you say that. Cause notice every other player that went to their new team, they signed their extension. Jimmy Butler signed his extension. Brandon Ingram signed his extension with the Raptors. Luka is the only one that didn't sign his extension.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It could be a chance that he leave. So they better get this right this year, because unless LeBron leaves, what reason would Luka not want to go to Denver? Especially if Denver gets some success this year. I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna be watching Denver this year. I'm gonna watch to see what they do.
Denver is gonna be. They always gonna be a dark horse as long as Nikola Jokic is on that team, in my opinion. Especially now with Westbrook, that gives them a whole nother gear coming off the bench, bro. So, I mean, with Denver, if Luka ever goes over there, bro, I think, in my honest opinion, I don't see it working out well at all. Because Denver, they're not as heavily reliant on Jokic as people may seem, as people may say. They move the ball very well. They're very cohesive unit, and everybody plays off of each other. It would be a major change if everybody has to play off of Luka Doncic if he goes to Denver. And even with that happening, they would have to give up some big pieces. If he goes to Denver, you might not see a Jamal Murray. You might not see an Aaron Gordon. You might not see some of the key players that help them win championships if Luka Doncic gets over there to Nikola Jokic. I'm personally wouldn't be too worried about that team, because if you got Luka and Jokic on the same team on the court at the same time, my offense better score 150. I don't care if they score 151, but shit, I'm gonna need some kind of offensive production coming from somebody. Hell, I just don't see it working over there. So, I don't know.
Okay. The only thing I say about that is, the only reason I say it could work, because Jokic, I've seen been able to uplift every teammate that he's pretty much been able to offensively make use of them. I mean, with Westbrook, those are those are true triple double kings, but like you said, Jokic isn't ball dominant. So if he was able to make that work with Westbrook, Luka, he can, make it work with him too. He would just probably give Luka more ability to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah. And like that's the thing though, like because Westbrook plays at a completely different pace than a Dungeon Luka, so it's not like we see Luka cutting to the basket. How would that look if we see a Luka and Jokic on the same team? Like, would it be a straight ISO with Luka for the first 15 seconds, dump the ball to Jokic in the post, and Jokic find the open man? Like, how would that work? Because with the pace that Westbrook brings to that team, it literally meshes all the way with how Denver already plays. A bunch of cuts, a lot of smart cuts, actually. A lot of ball movement, a lot of movement off the ball. And Luka, I just don't see him providing that much. So that's my skepticism when it comes to that. I can't lie.
Okay. No, that's a fair assessment. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about. What you think about Golden State, what they got going.
Oof. Okay, Golden State, they are trying to do a rebuild of a combination of old and new talent. It's definitely going to be a little bit more tough for me to just analyze the team right now because we've only seen like 1-2 games with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. But what Jimmy Butler will bring to that team, I will definitely say it's going to help Steph Curry out a tremendous amount going into the later part of the season, because we saw last year with Steph, he was exhausted after every fucking game, bro. Like, and Jimmy Butler would definitely be able to take that pressure off of him. And with Jimmy Butler and Draymond being on the same team, the egos don't match up too well, just for me to think about right now. I don't see, because if Draymond Green is comfortable enough with calling Kevin Durant a bitch on live TV, he's comfortable enough with knocking out Jordan Poole in practice. And Jimmy Butler, we already know how strong of a personality he got. I would just want to see them later on in the season. Maybe they're in that playoff seeding. I mean, not playoff, but play-in seeding, and getting into a high-pressure situation. Which ego are they going to defer to? Because Steph Curry, as great as he is and as much of a leader on that team he is, he's not going to be that leader that team is going to go to first to, snap back into whatever rhythm that they will have. Draymond is a very vocal person. So is Jimmy Butler. And man, I see him having a good year next year. If I want to be honest, I see this move being a short-term move, but for the temporary long term. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a win now situation, but it's a win soon situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So with Jimmy Butler being in that lineup next year, I can definitely see that team causing a whole lot of people problems because they have young talent over there. It's Golden State, so they're going to always have some kind of young talent there, and they do have it. It's just right now you have your biggest leader on that team in Draymond Green that is kind of aging out before our eyes. And who's going to be that replacement for Draymond? Because Jimmy Butler, as good as he is, he's still no Draymond Green. You know, Draymond is just a generational talent, in my opinion, because of course, he's not as talented as any other generational talent that's out there. But his mindset puts him in that realm because he understands the game so well that he's able to affect the game in so many different fashions. And slowly but surely, that's kind of breaking down for him right now. You can tell Draymond ain't got the same legs. You can tell Draymond he's losing a little bit of vision, even though he still got it. And we all know Draymond's IQ can be questionable at times. You know, some of the passes he be making, I be thinking he Westbrook out there. No disrespect, you know. But Draymond, he's going to be. I'm going to be paying attention to Draymond in the Golden State situation. I'm not paying attention to Steph, and I'm not paying attention to Jimmy Butler. I'm going to be paying attention to Draymond the whole time because it's really going to matter what Draymond thinks about the situation on how well it goes. You know? So that's just my take on the Warriors, right?
What would you say is their biggest weakness then?
Not having a consistent big. They're kind of in the same boat as the Lakers right now. And that is definitely costing them games. And like I was saying about Draymond, he's a different kind of player, but at the same time, he's losing that step. And if you ain't got Draymond to anchor the paint like he used to, who is going to be that person? You know, it's not going to be an easy thing to find because you can't just throw Kuminga at the 4 and expect him to guard these 275-pound grown-ass men. You know, so with me, I think their biggest weakness right now is the size. You know, and I think with that, they heavily rely on Steph Curry's offense. And I think that's a major reason why they went out and got Jimmy Butler, because they needed some kind of guy that's going to initiate his own offense, but do it in an unselfish way, you know? And I think Jimmy Butler was the right fit for that. But that team relies way too much on Steph Curry. Like if Steph Curry's out there running from one end of the court to the other end of the court, and has to be your number one option every single time, I can only imagine how his legs feel after an overtime game. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely they rely too much on Steph, and I think they just ain't got enough size at that 4 or 5 position. You know, so.
Yeah, we gonna see when Draymond said we're gonna win a championship. Now you and then you put your reasoning is because you're not afraid of any of these teams.
Right.
I think he's pertaining more to the teams that are like OKC and Memphis and the younger teams in Houston. I think primarily those teams he's talking about because they got the most hype, but you still gonna have to deal with us. You're gonna have to deal with now that the Lakers let go of AD. I think that's going to make it easier for Golden State to beat them.
Right.
And then you got, Dallas. I think Dallas is going to give them a hard time. But in Denver, we'll, see how that matchup goes. But all in all, man, I wouldn't expect anything different from Draymond. He's a 4-time champion. But for you to say it out loud, it's kind of like, man, you really confident.
Right. Yeah. And I think Draymond's sleeping on especially those two teams, because we got to remember Memphis played Golden State in a 7-game series. Ja ended up getting hurt. But before Ja got hurt in that series, the Grizzlies had a good chance of winning that motherfucker. A lot of people forget that. And these back-to-back series that they played against the Nuggets, those were young teams. They struggled. they struggle, so it's a lot that Draymond got to analyze at this point in his career. I think he's getting a little bit too delusional, if you ask me. But, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? He has that confidence. Like you said, he's a 4-time champion. So we expect nothing less of especially Draymond Green. But just to look over these young teams like that and say you're not scared of anybody in the West and you're the 10th seed in the West, yeah, that has to be the most delusional statement I've ever heard, bro.
In his eyes, it's like you guys. He may be thinking in his eyes like, well, these teams ain't championship tested like we are. They look at OKC, they not championship tested. OKC ain't championship tested. Houston ain't championship tested. So it's like, yeah, he's like, well, yeah, we the 10th seed now or the 9th seed, whatever, but that don't mean nothing. If we get one of them spots, I mean, we feel confident we can beat anybody. I mean, hell, even look at Houston. I think Houston is not going to be able to beat Golden State. I just think they have a psychological advantage over them. Now, Memphis is weird. Memphis, they seem like, I agree with you. Memphis, I think, is a better match for Golden State because they don't have that psychological hold over them. Like Zach Edey and Ja and them players over there, they are all about, that talk. Houston, I just think they're not as, outside of Dylan Brooks, they're not really all that. I feel like Houston got more of a psychological hold over them.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Houston does struggle again. Like Steph Curry loves playing in Houston, bro. And he's been doing that for a while. And the thing to go back to Draymond's statement, especially with your interpretation, when you looking at these young teams and you're just looking at how much they have been battle tested, I would like to ask Draymond a question. All right, if you think these young teams are not battle tested, where was the Golden State Warriors mindset in 2015? They weren't as battle tested. I mean, it was a young team, gritty, not scared of nobody, and those qualifications right there match up to almost every young team in the West right now. So I would have a lot of questions for Draymond and his delusions, but I understand where he will be coming from when it comes to that, because like these young teams, and we saw last year with OKC, I mean, they were good. They were great. A great in-season team. When it came towards the postseason, though, things started slowing down and they figured out that they need a number 2 option, because Shea couldn't do it all by himself. And I think, like what you saying, that I think that's more of what he's pointing towards, because he's looking at the teams like the Grizzlies or Houston Rockets that they ain't got a solid number 2 option. As good as the Grizzlies are, Desmond Bane, he can be a great threat, or he can not be a threat at all. It just depends on the matchups. And I don't think Golden State has the right matchup for Memphis. But like you said, I do think they do have the right matchup for Houston, because Houston is not that big of a team. Like their biggest guys, Şengün and what's the Smith Jr. I forgot his first name. But those are
Adams. They got Steven Adams too.
Ooh, shit. I forgot about that. I mean, but at the same time, and Steven Adams, he has to be healthy first. We can't put too much into Steven Adams. Like I'm from Memphis, my damn self, so I've watched Steven Adams through most of his career outside of OKC. That motherfucker cannot play a full season whatsoever, not to save his fucking life. Not to save his life, bro. So, if he is playing, then that would definitely, I would have to watch that series, because that would be the one person that could get Houston over that hump. Because right now with just Şengün, Smith Jr., Draymond can get in their heads way too easy. One person that Draymond know he can't get in the head of is Steven Adams.
Right.
That's one person that ain't scared of nobody. So if Steven Adams is playing, I might have to say I got Houston probably 55% to Golden State 45%. So it'll be a toss up either way. But just that one piece, it does change a lot of things psychologically, especially to be anchoring your defense and to be the big man down in the low post. So I forgot Steven Adams was over there at Houston, though. God damn, that's a big pickup.
Yeah, they got Houston got everything, but now I think they're gonna be dependent on how well Jalen Green plays, how that
Right.
Green and Alfred against Sengun, how good they play.
Yeah, and Jalen Green, he's a raw talent. You know, he kind of remind me of that young T Mac, bro. And it's crazy that he's playing for Houston, but that's the kind of game he reminds me of. That fearless. You know, I'm gonna get my bucket either way it go. I don't care what you think. I'm here to hoop. And seemed like a young T Mac to me. We just got to see how he is in this postseason because this is definitely going to be their first postseason run. And I'm glad that they're not in the play-in game because I would want to see them in the playoffs. You know, especially against because everybody under the 5 seed has some kind of experience in the playoffs, and it's going to be very interesting. And I'm glad they added this play-in into the situation because these older teams that are down in the pecking order, they still do have a chance to get into the playoffs to play a young team like a OKC, like a Memphis, like a Houston, you know, like Minnesota ain't up there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I really do like the fact that they did that because I would want to see a Houston play against a Clippers. Honestly, I think that would be a very good series, very entertaining, especially with Ben Simmons. And that's why I'm keeping my own eye on Ben Simmons when it comes to the Clippers because the things that he's able to bring to this team is exactly what this team needed, except for the stretching the floor. We all understand, but when it comes to this team, they needed size, they needed youth, and they needed athleticism and another ball hand. And he literally embodies all of that all in one. So, like you said, James Harden, if the Clippers end up playing against Houston, James Harden is probably going to have to take a back seat. Bro.
Yep. Exactly. See, I'm looking at that's how you looking at it, I'm looking at it, how the matchups are gonna be.
Right.
Harden will probably there'll be games where he ain't gonna even be in the closing lineup because you're gonna need see, like I said, with Houston, the big thing is somebody gotta be able to hold down Jalen Green and Alfred Sengun. They have got to be limited because as soon as you got Jalen Green, if you gave him if he matches Norman scoring, that's gonna put that series in a harder series. If Jalen Green gets like somewhere between 25 and 30, and then you got Sengun giving you an extra 20 to 22, and then you got Dylan because Dylan Brooks is gonna be on Kawhi. Now, Kawhi is Kawhi, but one thing about Dylan Brooks, man, if he can talk smack to LeBron or he can go at LeBron, he's going at anybody. Like he's not. That's the reason why he made Doka recruited him. He don't want nobody but tough-minded guys on his team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tricky series, bro. Like I said, Houston's a team that's gonna be a tough series if we play them.
Oh yeah,
And
but I will.
He don't want to be physical with Houston. That's another thing.
Don't you think that's a little weird though? Like, how are you going to be physical with all the other big men in the league, but somehow he struggles against the slimmer defenders?
Can I be honest with you? I think it's what they said: Jabari Smith, Byron Eaton, and then you got it's the athleticism and speed. I think that's what he's more overwhelmed with. You know, Zoo being a traditional center, I think the athleticism and the speed overwhelms him.
Right.
And the skill set of Sengun, the youth, overwhelms him. Same way he overwhelms Harden. Now, there's another thing. Now that Harden's a liability against Houston, that takes away a little bit of Zubac.
Right. Right. Would you say that Zubac would most likely not play in this series either?
That's tough, bro, because Harden and Zubac being a liability in a series, bro, I don't think no team does that to us. Not even OKC. And OKC, Zubac doesn't. Well, actually, yeah, OKC too. Harden don't play well against OKC.
Right. Yep.
So Houston and OKC are two problems where Zubac don't go off and Harden don't really go off. So those are series that Kawhi normally got to come with it, and Ben Simmons is going to have to alleviate one of their offensive threats. Houston is going to have to be Sengun, and for OKC, it's going to have to be Chet. They're going to have to limit him.
Whew. Man, it's gonna be real interesting watching this Clippers team go forward, because just with those two teams, we have so many questions about how Ty Lue is going to have to tweak that lineup. You know, I'm real skeptical at the moment about Ty Lue, and I know everybody else is too. But you know, Ty Lue deserves all the criticism that he gets, because he has no excuses for the last, well, besides Kawhi getting hurt, but for the last 5 years, the only excuse that we can give Ty Lue is that 2022 season. You know, and even with that 2022 season, I think he did a great job with the team, but I still think he was worried about the wrong things. You know, because when it comes to Ty Lue, he worries about, first of all, getting your offense going first. If it was me, honestly, if I was coaching, I would be coaching more like an Ime Udoka. I don't want to see the opposing team scoring first in the first 5 minutes. I don't care what we do on offense. We're going to figure that shit out. Main thing I'm focused on, I don't want to see this team score in the first 5 minutes. You know? So I think Ty Lue's priorities are just fucked up when it comes to his rotation. Like, okay, this will probably be my starting lineup. And no shade to James Harden. You know, James Harden is who he is. He's a Hall of Famer. I can't take none of that shit away. But I'm definitely putting Ben Simmons at the 1, Norm at the 2, Kawhi at the 3. Who can I put there at the 4? Honestly, I wouldn't mind either putting Amir Coffey into the starting lineup. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but in my eyes, I see Amir Coffey as a 3-and-D guy that's going to keep the ball moving, and he's going to get the shots. He's going to knock the shots down. And then I have Zubac at the 5. You know, hey, a lot of people ain't going to agree with that, but that's just my style of fucking play. I'm a defensive guy first. It don't matter what sport it is.
I'm not mad at that lineup. I'll have to see. Let me pull something up real quick with Ben Simmons. See, it's gonna matter. His conditioning is gonna matter. You know, in the playoffs, like he said that he's fine. He feel like physically he's okay. So if he can take that starting point guard position, bro, I'm telling you, that's going to be huge, because now you have another athletic player who can't be pushed around. See, Houston, the key to beat Houston, a team like that, is you got to have as many athletes and as much size on that court as possible. See, small ball ain't going to work against Houston. They're not going to work against OKC. It's not going to work. because their small ball is better than our small ball. So that's not going to work. So you have to beat them in a different way, which means go big. So you got to you got to put a guy who's 6'10". Now Houston ain't going to be able to pressure him full court.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's going to be me running the Pull Up podcast for one show. Jay, I'm dumb. He said Harden tells Ty Lue what to do.
Oh Lord, I don't even think that's true. Honestly, I don't think that's true, JM. Sorry. I think Ty Lue has a mind of his own and has an ego of his own. He's an ex NBA player himself, so he thinks he knows what to do, and it's clear that he thinks that. So I can't put that back.
Yeah, man. Let me drop the link for JM. He said link. I told him I'll let him run the podcast if he was right about Ben Simmons replacing Harden, which I'm not. Like I say the same thing too, but JM has been on point about a lot of things. I don't know if people have been seeing, but he's been on point with a lot of things so far. So he's been speaking and he stands on tree branches by himself. So
That's a good one. Hey, low key, yeah. JM has some goated takes, but he has some crazy takes. So it balances out. Some of his takes just be having me baffled, bro. I be confused as shit sometimes. Go ahead, though.
what's good, JM?
Salute everybody. Salute, Mr. Sir. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, my I heard you. You know, so I call it. I came in just at the right time. Yeah, they be what's that word? Abstract. But that's how I was able, to get a lot of them right because I look outside the box. I kind of got a quirk for doing that even in life. So I factor in a lot of factors all at one time and see everything and basically come down. They sound abstract, but I have been like, if we took a bet of how many people have been right since last season, I think I pretty much got like an 80%, 98% guessing rate. But either way, go Clippers. Pull up, man. You smarter than the other dude. I'll be going over there to harass him. I ain't gonna say his name. He. I don't think he was actually a Clipper fan. I think some of his takes, like he got to stay loyal to. Like I think he's just sort of different. You know what I'm saying? He just got to stay loyal. But I'll be going over there just harass him when you're not on. So I'm pretty much talking about because I just he loyal to Ty Lue. I just like messing with him. But either way, on the other show, but you way more intelligent. You way more. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. About Harden, yes. Ben is gonna eventually take Harden's spot. Like Stevie Wonder could see the benefits of having Ben taking Harden's spot. It's not a knock at Harden. It's just beneficially. Ben is actually the better choice. He's taller. He could see the floor better. He can pass. He could he could play defense. Like it's common sense to put him at point guard. And
Right.
it's no knock at Harden. It's just literally now about Harden's. I kind of like shorten it down because I was typing. But in that game when Harden played 49 minutes, come to find out, Ty was trying to take Harden out the game. Harden said that it's a he wrote it somewhere. I think they talked about it during the All-Star game or somewhere. Ty was trying to take him out. Harden told Ty, we gotta win this game. I gotta stay in the game. So Harden actually stayed in the game against what Ty wanted to do. So I kind of, and it's out there. I've read, but I kind of figured that anyway. But I didn't know that part. So that came out during the All Star game or this report out. Huh? Oh, I thought somebody said. So anyway, so if we got Harden challenge, because I was like, why did Harden play 49 games? Well, Ty wanted him to come out the game, but Harden wanted to stay in the game. You know, he didn't want to come out the game. That's probably why Ben. I think was Ben in overtime.
I think he was. Yep, he was. He
So
played.
so
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
so Ben played in overtime then.
he played
Okay.
27 minutes. Yeah,
No, I mean in
yep.
overtime. Did Ben play in overtime?
There was only one overtime.
Right. So Ben played in that one.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Well, that's the game that Harden said he wasn't coming out the game. So and it's written anyway. It's a report is actually out there. So I'm like, damn. So if that's the problem, Harden telling Ty what to do, that's kind of like LeBron telling Ty what to do at the Cavs. Like that could be a problem going forward. That's what I meant by Harden, telling Ty what to do because he did it at that game. So and then I read somewhere else again because like I've been researching about Harden since because I knew there was a reason why I didn't like his game. Apparently, none of the players Harden has ever had likes him. Every coach called him a problem. He's not welcome nowhere, literally. And I didn't know that. Like he's disruptive. They say he's a disruptive player. The locker, he turns the locker. And I never thought about that, but I haven't heard of any players saying they enjoy playing with Harden. So how I feel about him is actually I was on point. He's a locker room wrecker. And the coach staff, there's no coach one. That's why Houston didn't want him back. That's why Dan Antonio, whatever, turned his back on him. Like he is a problem player. He truly is a diva. So if he coming over here telling Ty what to do, I could automatically see him and Kawhi clashing immediately. And that could explain why Kawhi like, yo, man, we played too slow, this, that, and that. And I remember one interview when they was interviewing Kawhi, they asked him about Harden, and you could hear Harden in the background talking about, say something nice, Kawhi. So I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was a post game interview when they asked him about, he said, say something nice, Kawhi. So that was Harden telling Kawhi to say something nice about him during the interview. So I'm like, wow. So anyway, I factored all of that into Bennett here, and Harden probably much gonna pick up his option and leave next year because he's gonna pout his way off the team. Every team he was on, when they brought somebody else in, he pouted. When Houston got Chris Paul, Harden left. When Kyrie got over that flu shit in the Nets, Harden left. When Maxey came to the Sixers, Harden left. And truth be told, we never asked for Harden. Harden just popped up. He must have made some side deal with Ty Lue. I guess they buddies, but I don't remember. I remember we talking on the show. Y'all was talking on the show one day. Where did Harden come from? We didn't actually know where did because Harden actually was going back to Houston. He wanted to go back to Houston, but Houston said, "Nah, we good. We got our young players." That they coaches didn't want Harden, so that's how we wound up with us. But I don't see nobody beating us in the West, so not simply because our matchups, not just because I'm Gold Clipper, but actually our matchup, our roster. There's nobody to stop Ben. Just hypothetically, if Ben did play point guard, who can match him? Right? We got Zoo. We don't even have to go Zoo. If we went small, like Paul, Ben is going to draw a double. He's going to draw. Eventually, Ben will draw a double team. Kawhi automatically going to draw a double team. Then we got Powell running around. Then we got DJJ or Catchdown or E-Box. We're going to, with both of them drawing double teams, there will always be one person open. And our team, our roster, even our starting five, even our bench, even with Coffee playing, if you double team anybody on that team, anybody else can score. So that's why I say that there's no team deep enough that could stop us. So what you think about that? I think that's
No,
old
it's
man.
that's
Or
that.
what?
That's why I want to ask about Bogey and Amir. I don't know if Taz is still there, but I want to ask about Bogey and Amir's presence. Now that you got the second unit with shooters, I don't think it's particularly the first. I think the second unit. See, Kawhi was ahead of the curve. Now that you got Bogey and now that you got Amir in the second unit, that helps us in the scoring department to keep the flow going. See, a lot of times with the scoring, it would more so come from the bench that we need more than the starting five. So I think the move for Bogey is going to be low key a X factor move for us because notice he was in the closing lineups. So he don't have to necessarily start, but Bogey is a high IQ, battle tested player. So there's just so many lines we can throw out there, man. Like, but what team do you think that we got the hardest matchup against, or matchups against?
Well,
Shit, Minnesota, Dallas.
I'm just gonna say Lakers only because Ty is so close to LeBron. I'm just gonna say Lakers. I don't see Minnesota. They don't got enough big men. When they lost Cat, that kind of weakened them. That's why you don't hear nothing really about the Minnesota right now. Like they got Julius Randolph. Is he still even playing? Like I I can only see Lakers only because, like I said, Ty is so close to LeBron. There ain't no telling what happened with that series. But my fault. Go ahead, Vortex or Taz.
Oh no, you good, bro? I'm over here just trying to park real quick. Y'all go ahead and build, man.
What y'all think about? What you think about Houston and Denver and Memphis, JM, OKC?
I think there was a threat till we got Ben. And like you said, we got another shooter because they're not as tall as us. They're quick and fast. But if Ben play point guard, like who they got to stop them? They're gonna have they're basically gonna be like the seven doors trying to stop a giant. They quick and fast little people. But you got a
Mm.
6'10", 200 something pound point guard coming down the court. They're gonna be scrambling. And I think we're gonna be able to use our size. And then we got, like you said, the guy with the name with the B, and we got people they size that could run with them, Powell and Coffee. So I think they stunned us because Harden at point guard was a problem. I don't think it was our team. I think Harden, just like you said, can't keep up to the pace with them young guys. But he is 36, so I think leaving him on the court was the problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that starting off, see, that's the thing too. You don't want to start off games like that. You don't want to start off games with your point guard being pressured full court and the momentum is in Houston's favor because they get a young team like that will mess around, run you out the gym and never look back. So Ben has to, like I said, man, the playoff rotation is going to be interesting. What Todd does.
But I hope they strong arm him. I'm expecting to see a different Ty after the All-Star game, especially after that report came out about Harden just telling him, saying he gonna stay in the game regardless. Like I think we're gonna see a different Ty because Ben actually was. If we have another game with Ben doing good, I think, like I said, we're gonna see a different Ty, or we might not see Ty at all.
Man,
he might get his because there's no way he could keep Ben off the court. Somebody he gonna have to address somebody about
there
that
you go.
situation.
There you go. There you go. He can't. There's nothing. That Ben is the epitome of the coach can't afford to keep you off the court. They can't. He can't afford to. He does too many things good.
Yeah, that's gonna be the head scratcher. That's gonna be one with the bone be like, yo, even the owner gonna say, why isn't Ben on the court? you know, even Palmer gonna be able to see that. So that's gonna be a conflict between Ty and the front office. I can see it coming. Like you said, even do you know that his back to backs isn't even because of his back to backs is not even because of his health. I found that quite interesting, BJ. You can look. His DMPs is called is game conditioning, whatever the heck that is. Basically, he's on minute restriction because of game conditioning, not because of surgeries, not because of no ailment, nothing. It's literally only way I could think of game conditioning would mean is Ty choosing to put him on minutes. Have you ever heard of a term called game conditioning, BJ?
Game time conditioning. No, that's never been a status. I mean, that's just you ain't got to announce that. Oh, game time thing. You get conditioned by playing in the games. So I would expect that's how you. If you're physically okay, you don't have no limitations. You should be playing. That's how you get in condition by playing.
Yeah, next time you there, or even if it's still in the last game, he sat the first game he came. He sat out because of game conditioning. That was the reason. So I'm like, wait a minute, why is he on minute restriction? He was playing for the Nets. He just literally came from playing for the Nets. And Ben literally said he was good to go while he was at the interview. So now he's on minute restriction. I think that's Ty. Ty
Yeah.
trying to sell it, and then sitting and to prove that, just to prove my theory, like Taz think my takes is off. And sometimes he is. In that game when he's on minute restriction, like you said, the overtime game, they brought him back in. Somebody told Ty to bring Ben back in the game because he was over his minute restriction. See what I'm saying? Right. Somebody told like, yo, man, get Ben off the court. I mean, get Ben on the court. so that my point is, he does not really. There's no reason for him to be on minute restriction.
No, it's not. I think he even said at the Utah game, like Ty said it out loud, like, Ben wanted more minutes. He wanted more minutes on the court, so they let him play. He went over his minutes apparently, but they let him go because Ben wanted to like say I can get more minutes, and if he wasn't in that fourth, especially, we would have lost that game.
There you go. So that goes back to my whole theory. Like that was Ty. It's something that Ty doing, but even Ty with Ben basically said, "Yo, I want to play some more minutes." So there was nothing Ty could do to keep him out the game. So that whole minute restriction thing, it makes you like, who's the one put him under this in the first place? Because clearly he overrid it. Interesting, isn't it?
See, we're gonna have an interesting postseason, JM. It sounds like.
Yes, it sounds like it's going to be a very interesting postseason. It sounds like it's going to be a very interesting couple of games leading into it. Because if Ben got the power to say, yo, I could play, and Ty Lue got to put him back in, that means there was never no minute restriction. So that means Ben, the better he shows that he could do it, he's going to eventually take harder spot. That will eventually happen. Probably by next week.
Man, you think Ty Lue likes Ben?
No, I don't think so. I don't think when they asked Ty about Ben was like, man, I don't think Ty asked for Ben. I don't think he liked him. Ben doesn't fit no kind of player Ty would even pick in the first place. He's not a small guy. He's not a small guy.
So who you think who you think his idea was it then?
Lawrence Frank, like he said, and the office. Like Ty said, like Ben said, he talked to the office and Lawrence Frank. I think it's their idea. Well, that's what Ben said himself. He said he talked to Lawrence Frank and the front office.
There's transparency.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with what you were saying. He did say that. He said there was transparency that he felt wanted.
Yep. Lawrence Frank and off. I think there's a call they made. I'm just guessing, but Ty never really looked happy, even when he had to announce Ben. Like, oh shit, he's not somebody Ty Lue picked. Ty Lue pick likes a lot of guards. Ben is not a guard. He's a point guard. He's big. He's not one of the little streak. He's not a Reggie Jackson. He's not a Russell Westbrook. He's not a KPJ. You know, he's not Ty's typical type of player. Yeah,
That's
he
a
don't look.
fact. That's true.
Yeah, so when you be in there, maybe you could read. Like I like reading body language, so I like to study Ty after every interview. You know, just study, see what he say, how he act. And when they asked him about Ben, he scratched his head like 12 times. He kept touching his face like that. He is really aggravated about Ben. When the first asked him how you feel about Ben, and he was just like bothered, like like damn, this dude. You know, who do we get? Who do we
Right.
play next? But anyway, but you there, so
Well,
maybe you can study that and see. I don't think Ben was brung here for somebody, and that could go into why Ben put himself back in the game.
they
You
got
know,
Milwaukee up. That's first. We got Indiana, and then Detroit, Chicago, LA, and then Phoenix. That's our 7 games trip. So I'm looking at like really it's a 4 game road trip because LA and Phoenix are like still right by each other. So we got a Midwest road trip. Milwaukee, Indiana, Detroit, Chicago. So we should beat Milwaukee if especially Giannis don't play. I think we should be able to beat them.
I think even with Giannis, we got a chance. So once again, Ben makes us a little bit, gives us the X factor. Him and Kawhi on the court at the same time, and Zoo and Powell.
I would say that, but I think the one person that Ben might have issues with is Giannis.
Well, that frees up Kawhi.
Yeah, that's true. Because they got
See,
nobody for Kawhi.
yeah, they got nobody. Like who they gonna pick? That's my whole factor of us saying that we should be able to. Oh, I could see us Minnesota. I'm not. Didn't we beat? Didn't we beat Milwaukee already this season?
Yeah, we
I
beat
think.
them. We beat them when right before the deadline. I think that was a game. Norm and Harden went off, and then Kawhi had his showing in the third quarter against Giannis.
Right. So that was before we got Ben. That was
Yeah,
with. That was before Ben and we beat. Yes, so I don't think they're gonna be. I would think all of other teams like Chicago. See, even now we got Ben. That change. Even with Bogdanovich, that changes the whole lineup, right? Because Chicago got rid of Levine. They got, I think Melo gone. I'm not sure if Melo's still there. So they stripped their team. So they shouldn't be a problem. I see Suns. Suns would have been a problem because I don't think
yeah,
we beat the Suns yet,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Suns. I think now that Ben's here, we got a player that can match up with KD.
There you go. Frees up Kawhi. We got 6'10", going 6'10", 250 pounds going against Kevin, who's a nice shooter, but he weighs 110 pounds. So Ben gonna be able to push Kevin out the way. And then we got DJJ and Chris Dunn on the other light
Booker,
skinned dude, Booker,
Booker.
right? Booker. And then we got Kawhi still roaming around out there. And even if you want to put Harden in the mix as shooting guard, whatever, okay, we got a Harden out there. So
Right.
everything with now we got Ben. That's why I've said we with Ben kind of give us the edge over. What team do you think we're gonna have problems with? Even with a Ben and Kawhi on the floor at the same time.
Dallas,
Why you say Dallas?
because Dallas has the size and they got the ability to go small. If they're
Oh yeah,
healthy, So, like, say AD at the small ball 5. Now, Ben is physical, that he can make it hard on AD. But then here comes PJ Washington. Here comes Derek Lively. You still got Daniel Gafford. That's a huge front court. And then you got the scoring of Klay Thompson. You got the playmaking of Dinwiddie and Kyrie. You got a lot of weapons that they have a balanced roster. They have a fully balanced roster. And they got Max Christie as a defensive player.
Yeah, I forgot about Clay, and apparently Clay remembered how to shoot. So yeah, I forgot about Clay. Yeah, that's gonna be a shootout right there. And they physical too. Gafford and PJ, whatever his name is, he is physical.
Yeah.
He ain't too good at scoring, but he's a definitely physical player.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's athletic.
he's athletic. Yeah, long arms. Like he gave us fits in the playoffs last year. Yeah, and then I forgot they got Kyrie. I forgot all about little Kyrie.
Yeah. See, that's a series where I feel. See, and another thing Dallas is going to have to do is Dallas's ability to protect the rim. See, this is something that we don't have. We don't really have rim protection like they do. So now that forces us to do what? Shoot more 3-point shots. That's a series that Kawhi is going to have to really master that mid range. Norm is going to have to really be able to score. I don't think Harden is going to be much use in that series either. I don't think he's going to be much use in that series. For whatever reason, when he faces Kyrie Irving, it's a bad matchup to me.
I agree. You're hardly gonna shoot us out the game if you leave it up to him. He's gonna be trying to do too much against Kyrie. He's gonna try to prove himself, and that's gonna mess us up if he get the ball in his hand. But I see us beating him like you said. That one thing you said, we gotta abuse the mid range. If Kawhi and Ben, they like to stay in the mid range. So and Paul likes operating in the mid range. If we could keep attacking the mid range, it's going to draw their big men out away from the rim. And if we're able to give Zoo the ball, we if we don't shoot, if we keep shooting threes, that we're going to lose shooting threes. And going just pick it back off of that. In our last game, I didn't notice that we didn't win off of threes.
We
We didn't shoot
didn't.
a lot of threes.
Right.
We pounded the ball. Did you? I didn't notice that. So maybe if we could pound the ball, we ought to be able to get maybe they big men in foul trouble because they are still young. And AD should, but like you said, the key factor is the mid range. If we go into the mid range, we should be able to pound them. Yeah, they do got a big squad. You got to score quick with them. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
That might be a series that we might need a Mir Coffee and Bogey too, because we're gonna need as much offense as we can get. We need as much
Definitely.
shooting. We need as much. This is my lineup. This would be my lineup. I would say
Okay.
Ben, Norm, Amir / Bogey. Well, nah, that's it. Okay. Kawhi should. I don't think it matters if Kawhi's the. Well, yeah. Would you want Kawhi matched up with AD?
He could because AD not he's not big, like he's tall, but no, but I would rather have DJJ matched against AD. I wouldn't want the risk of Kawhi getting injured. AD
Yeah.
is 7 foot tall, you know what I'm saying? Kawhi will have to
How
battle
you
the seven, huh?
how you feel about Harden and Ben playing together?
I don't see it. Only way I see it working if Harden go to the shooting guard, and he actually looked good in that game. Playing shooting guard. If you go back to some kind of shooting guard or small forward anywhere but the gut ball, I think they could coexist together. I
Okay,
think
so that would be Ben, Harden, Norm, Kawhi, and Zubac. Okay. But
or
if you put, go ahead.
but see you got a conundrum. If Ben played the point guard, play the one, Harden plays the two,
Norm
Kawhi
at the
plays
three.
the so that's gonna be yeah. If no one plays, yeah, I forgot no one gonna start. So if he plays the three, then Kawhi gonna have to play the four, and then that's gonna leave Zoo at the five. So I don't know. I would leave Harden out the mix and let. I would actually put him on the bench. I mean, for that at least for that one game, and have a lineup like Ben number one, Powell number two, like he been number two, Kawhi number three, DJJ or Eubanks at number four, and Zoo at number five. Because we don't have to have size and scoring, right? But then you got Coffee could come in too. I'll
See,
let
the only
Harden run the
problem is that
second one.
we keep running is in that four. So like that's where an older Nico Batum would be perfect.
All right. Yeah.
A younger Nico Batum would be perfect for that because he can space the floor and shoot when Ben kicks the ball out for because we'll have a scorer and defender at that four. But now that Nico's older, that's where the what's the word you say conundrum.
Conundrum. Yeah, I just learned that word from my nephew.
Conundrum.
Conundrum.
Conundrum. That's when the conundrum comes apart. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see, man.
Ty
He
gonna be
said
scratching his head. Huh?
he said Ben Simmons guards Giannis as well as everyone could. Um, I ain't seen that. I ain't seen how you think Ben guards Giannis.
I think on paper he should be able to handle them. They're about the same size. They're
See.
about- they both what? Ben what? I mean Giannis what? Six he's not 7 foot, is he?
Nah, he's 6'11".
6'11". So I think that they might cancel each other out, if anything. Maybe I think that's what Mr. Player wanted. He said guys Giannis as well as anyone. So I can see his him saying that by like they share size. They match up well. They both athletic. They both could like they should cancel each other out. If
Mhm.
anything, he's big enough to stand in front of Giannis. That's for darn sure.
Let me see. Well, this is I don't know. I don't know because I'm looking at the numbers between the two right now. Man, Giannis is. I mean, not just numbers, but see, Ben gets a high off of being 6'10" and athletic, but Giannis is like you said, the same person, but he's stronger and he has more of a scoring mentality than Ben. So he keeps coming at you over and over. So I see in 32, 52, 45,
Oh,
18.
believe me, I'm not saying Ben is nowhere near the scorer as Giannis, but Giannis been the primary scorer. I mean, they cancel each other out because we could have Ben defend Giannis, put a body
Mm,
on Giannis to slow him down. But no, Giannis is clearly the better player. He's been featured on his teams. He more, but we have a body instead of having Zoo on Giannis, instead of having Kawhi having to
right.
check Giannis the whole game. We have a Ben to do it. Like Ben, just worry about Giannis. Keep that big fella out. Because Giannis can't shoot, so that's gonna be a battle in the mid range. Giannis can't shoot no jumper worth of, to save his life. He about like Ben. They can't. Both of them can't shoot, so they're gonna be battling. Close to the rim. I
Right
ain't
on.
saying Ben. I ain't saying Ben gonna stop Giannis, but he definitely gonna slow him down.
Mm.
I think that's what
All
the
right.
man meant by that. How you look at that? What?
With Ben matching up with Giannis,
Yeah,
I mean, physically he has all the gifts to do it. I just got to see because Giannis is a physical dude, man. Like against KD, I could see that because KD's not physical, so Ben can use his length and size and his athleticism to bother KD. But Giannis, I think, is a little bit more trickier. It's a little
I
trickier.
I agree. It's gonna be nice to see what we do match up. We play them next, right?
Yeah, we play the Bucks, and then we got Indiana, and then Detroit, and then Chicago.
Yeah, that matchup. If we could come out with Minnesota, if we could hold Greek Freak, I
Hmm.
don't think we're going. Indiana is a weird team too, though. They young and quick. The
Yeah,
Indiana, they beat us out the gym, I believe, right? Last time they played
they
us.
they came back and beat us when we're down by 20. They were down by 20 something. They just but Pascal's a big reason for their success against us that game.
Yeah,
So
Pascal is Kawhi's kryptonite. I seen that.
yeah, but there's another person you got to put Ben on if he can do it. So but
That'll be it.
man,
Yeah, go ahead, listener.
nah, go ahead. No, I was just saying I'm about to get ready to end it in a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, I always come at the tail end, man. I forgot. I didn't even. My notification must not have been on. I didn't. I caught you at the tail end, but I tried to catch another. So when do we play again? We don't play again till when? Thursday or?
Yeah, Thursday. So I'm gonna be doing live on Friday.
Oh, that's
Doing
what's
that
up,
live.
man. Well, you definitely enjoy the rest of your day, man, and keep up the good work.
Man, appreciate you, JM. We'll talk later.
No doubt. Go Clippers.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all, man. I expected a lot more people. I guess everybody's out today, but all these people in the chat, man. Like I said, make sure y'all let me know that y'all are in here. Make sure y'all like the vid, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope that y'all are enjoying what we have brought to y'all, man, on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So I'm gonna turn down the chat right now. We'll be going again next on Friday, and we're gonna continuously put out this great. Wait, let me look at the results. How we going before I let out of here? Let's see real quick how the Clippers will look the second part of the season. Got 31% saying excellent, 52% saying 49% saying good, 14% being average and bad, 6% saying I decide I don't know. So seems like everybody's pretty much saying good or excellent. So, we're gonna see the 7 game trip that we got coming up is gonna be a deciding factor how we do. But until next time, man, respectfully say pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull out, peace. Out of here like swimwear.